Riding a motorcycle is not just a way to escape modern society, with its punishing schedules and high expectations. It's a way to leave all you know behind, for the sheer concentration needed will leave no room to flicker back over trivial things that dust one's mind in normal day-to-day life. Going on tour on your motorcycle, well, that's another thing entirely. It's like stepping into an unwritten book. The book you hope will be whatever you want it to be, and yet the book will of course write itself. The road is as unpredictable as roulette, for the road is what nature strikes it to be. It's not often perfect. In fact, perfect is rare. The book one finds themselves in may not always be the one you want to be in, but be sure of this, it will be memorable and stay with thee for a lifetime. There is an unexplainable magic about a two-wheeled road trip. It can never be explained to someone who does not ride. If tried, you'd end up sounding like you were full to the brim of bravado, bragging, talking in a swindler's swagger. You would not be, of course. You may overcook the good times and play down the bad, but that's just human nature. But a motorcycle adventure is so romantic, even when undertaken as a solo endeavour. You see, it's the romance of the road. It's intimate, it's art, poetic, dangerous, heartwarming, joyful, punishing, soulful. It's true love. There is a closeness one will find between one and the machine that again is unexplainable, at least to a regular human, as opposed to a motorcyclist who I consider most definitely among the irregular, and others will label as the irresponsible. The book will be an adventure. There will be battles fought, the drama will unfold, our hero, he or she, will have to dig deep to overcome. But they are stronger than they know. It so often takes the road to find that out. Living out of a bag, take what you need. Plan very little, leave the book to write itself. Like writing without thinking, singing without lyrics. Spontaneity is a gift from the wind, don't miss it. What can be more romantic than having no clue where one will lay his head at the end of the day? After the sun has collapsed into the pitiless ocean of black. Waking at dawn with the knowledge that you have no plan. It is just so refreshing and invigorating. It's like a chance at rebirth. Sitting there cooking up breakfast, talking with your partner, or even just to a bird in the tree. Hey Mr. Crow, which way should I go? How's it looking west? Have you been that ways of late? By the time coffee has fallen to belly, an idea will strike. After you pondered over a map, you'll cross that mountain range today. Maybe find a small village to eat lunch. Looks like a forest by the lake on the other side. Maybe I'll lay my head there tonight. Maybe. You whisper so long to the old black crow, but he refuses to bid thee farewell. He stretches his neck around and decides he will follow you for a while. But not before he hops down after you leave to eat the leftovers you had thoughtfully laid out for his breakfast. One hits the road and feels that first breeze awaken thee. As the dust from the rear tire settles, the bird hungrily eats the smoke-cured bacon and egg, filling his empty guts with strength. As he swallows, he cocks his head to listen to the soft mutters of the wind. The engine runs west. Good, the sun won't be in my eyes, he thinks. It's still early and no one is out there on the road. Each bend is a new friend found. They run gentle like a friendly friend, taking you left and right, but ultimately on your way west. The mountains are still far away, looking more like an army of clouds lined up waiting to meet you in battle, prepared to fight till the death. With the engine and tyres warmed, you open her up a little more. The breeze is cool still. You do up the neck of your jacket a little higher and don't notice but subconsciously sink your neck down somewhat lower. Your shoulders also draw in slightly, making yourself smaller, a tougher object for the fresh breeze to aim for. There, that's better. You glance at the fuel gauge. Should be good for at least 100 miles more. Perfect. You need not stop just yet. Time to focus and cover some ground before normal people wake. When they wake, you know it will tarnish the chapter, interrupt the flow of the passages, not to mention the passage itself, the journey, the road. You feel like you're being watched. You had felt it for a while, but not quite realised it. You thought deep down, I guess you were too tired to fully comprehend it. You're slowly waking, for now you see him. Looking back over your right drawn-in shoulder, it's the crow. What do you know, crow? How was breakfast, you ask? The bird. I know it's good I fly straight. If I did not, I'd have never caught up with you. You run fast on that thing. Ah, that I do, crow. The bird looks down and hollers. But why so fast? Where are you going? Over the mountains. Nowhere. Everywhere. I don't care. It's just good to run. You reply with a smile. The bird laughs and nods. A wise ancient owl once told me, never try to fathom man, they do things without reason. There's no knowing man, is what he told me. You think you see the crow wink, but you can only see one eye, so it really is an impossible guess. But he squawks a farewell and banks to the right, turning back eastwards, flying back the way you had both come, and with the pink sun flaming in his burning black eyes. The morning miles are your favourite. You are stronger in the morning light. Your energy is high and optimism healthy. The first 100 miles are pleasant. Nothing eventful happened, but a wealth of beauty rolled past. The hills grew higher, the valley deeper and darker. You had found a small petrol station after 70 miles. It was old-fashioned to you. A young lad was waiting to fill the tank. He spoke no English at all, and it shocked you to see him relight his cigarette as he filled the machine. You stood back a few steps as you heard the wheel grind and catch the flint. You looked at him in pure astonishment. He looked back at you unknowingly. You let it slide. You had all three survived the spark. Either he does not know, does not care, or just likes the thrill. One cannot tell. It must be a tedious occupation. Later, you smile about it. The kid's dirty blank face is still in your mind. That bloody kid, you whisper in a chuckle. Out of nowhere, the mountains stand over you now. They're dark and lush with vegetation. Home to a billion living things, few of which you can see. The road climbs and twists. It's narrow and not well maintained. This should be interesting. As the gradient steepens, the machine pulls harder, the torque doing its job with little effort. The mountain road is set in a forest on the lower half. The trees flash by. You look into the darkness between them in hopes of seeing some movement. But all is quiet inside. After many hairpins later, the trees diminish and eventually disappear altogether. You are near the top now. The sun is now golden and high in the pale blue sky, but it's fresh up there. You pull over to a viewpoint and look back the way you have come. You think about the crow and wonder if he made it back. Wonder if he was resting now. Maybe he is high up in that tall tree, stood in his nest, spying west, thinking about you. You doubt it, but it's a thought nevertheless. You open the pannier and break out the little gas burner. You need more coffee before descending the heights of the mountain. As the water boils, you grind the Colombian beans you had especially packed for this journey. You flash back to the boy with the dirty face. You wonder how long he will last before he blows himself up. Imagine blowing yourself up. You daydream the scene over in your head. You see the couple in the big Range Rover arguing. They didn't bother getting out. The man just hit the button under the dash that popped the petrol door open. They were arguing, but both on their iPhones. They didn't watch the dirty-faced kid as he squeezed the pump fully back to let the gas flood in. He listened to them argue and smiled inside. Fuck that, he thought. He couldn't understand the words and sentences spoken. The plates were German, but the language of marital rows was universal. Fuck that, he thought. Then noticing his roll-up had gone out, he reached into his pocket for his fake Zippo. He relights the smoke and lowers the lighter to put it back in his jeans. But he closes the lid a millisecond too late. For just before he did, the tank was full and the gas splashed back out of the entrance door and just like that, exploded into the tank and lit the end of the pump. The boy's dirty face was no longer unknowingly blank. For a split, horrific second, he remembered the man on the motorcycle's face. He understood now. But it was too late. He went up in terrific orange flames. The pump blew up, the car caught fire, and the couple stopped arguing. They jumped from the burning vehicle, both on fire, and neither made it. The old-fashioned garage went up in smoke, and it's no longer there now. Just the charcoal remains feebly stand. It's a reminder that smoking and arguing are both bad for you. Damn, that all happened so fast, so brutal. The coffee is drank in silence. You watch a pair of vultures high in the sky riding the thermals. Too high to be hunting. Are they cruising, you wonder? What a rush. After some time they land on a high plateau, a ledge near the top of the mountain. The view must be astonishing from there. What a home, what a life. They are like feathered gods. You pack away the cooker and the tin cup, then ride on. Not hunting, just cruising. Much later you find that lake by the forest at the foot of the far side of the mountain. The lake is huge and so still it's like a wonderful mirror of life. With its own mountains and trees, its own sky and clouds. The golden sun now burns red, and she is saying goodbye slowly. Hurry back, darling, you think, as you lay down your bedroll. You camp next to the lake. You had found that mountain village for lunch in the end, later than you'd hoped. You'd eaten well, so well in fact, you'd make do tonight with a few snacks from the pannier. You watch the fire burn and hear the shadows creep, the trees talking in whispers and the moon watches all. The hoot of an owl reminds you of the crow. You think about hollering out to the owl, but know better than to shout out in the forest at night. Later, long after the embers have burnt out, you wake from a dream to hear the footsteps of what you do not know. It's too dark to see, they are too light to worry about. But still it bothers you, niggles you. You pull the sleeping bag over your head and do your best to ignore it. Far back east, the crow is still awake. He looks to the moon and thinks about the man. The crow wonders about the land over the mountains. He has heard stories, but never gone. He has watched many a storm thrash it out over the mountains. They have always filled him with doom and despair. The stories he hears talks of much warmer land over there to the west. Warmer and drier, not as green as this land. A land with strange people. A barren land with many giant birds. Huge birds with wingspans that would black out the sun, or so he heard. The thought of that makes him shudder. No, I'm happy here. I know what's what here. I do not need to go to that land. A week passes, and late one evening the crow hears an engine. It's familiar to him. Soon after he sees him coming back down the footpath to the clearing. It's the man on the machine. He looks a little more ragged than before, maybe slightly thinner. His skin is browner, but it's him. The crow watches as he puts up his little shelter and organises his camp. Soon the smell of food is back wafting between the branches. The crow flies down to make himself known. Not too close, but he lands clumsily on one of the lower, thinner branches. He carefully chooses a branch that will bend and bounce. It worked and caught the man's eye. "Well, what do you know?" asked the crow. It was 3 days later the man arrived home. He unloaded the machine and wheeled it into the garage. He bent down and thanked her, stroking the tank. "I'll clean you tomorrow, but thank you for keeping me safe and getting me there and back again in one piece. You're good to me." The man turned off the garage light and went into the house, throwing his bag and heavy coat down next to the big table. He sighed a happy sigh to be home. She was asleep, he knew. He would go and gently wake her. But first he walked over to the imaginary bookshelf. He reached into his back pocket and took out the book from the road, and he placed it gently on the end of the shelf, in its rightful spot, next to all of the others.